Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be taking a look into the tropics again today. We now have Tropical Storm Gonzalo, and we also have a hurricane going on out in the Eastern Pacific, and that's Hurricane Douglas. We also do have an area to watch still in the Gulf of Mexico. Looks like it's becoming more and more likely to becoming a tropical depression or maybe a low-end tropical storm. Let's go ahead and get started with the Eastern Pacific very quickly. As you can see, we have Hurricane Douglas, and this is expected to gain intensity more, and it'll start to die down a little bit as it kind of gets closer to Hawaii. We'll go ahead and click on this one here. And here's your general track from the National Hurricane Center. And as you can see here, they do expect the hurricane to continue and then slowly die down as we kind of get into later this weekend. And it seems like it will hit Hawaii as a tropical storm. Things could change, but that is going to be the forecast for right now. But Hawaii got to keep an eye on the storm here. And let's go ahead and move on to uh, the Atlantic. So we have Tropical Storm Gonzalo. We also have this, in which they just upped the percentages just today. And we're going to have hurricane hunters to uh, have an investigation on this system here very shortly, and we'll see if this has become a tropical depression or a tropical storm. It's kind of disorganized at this point, still, and we kind of expect that to stay disorganized as it gets closer to Texas, and it might gain some strength slowly. And as you can see here, they have a 30% chance in the next 48 hours. In the next 5 days will be as high as 80%. So that will be the system to watch. And here's Gonzalo here. It's currently a tropical storm, 50-mile-per-hour winds. Pressure's at down at 1,000 millibars. Here, let me go back here. And here we go. Let's take a look to Gonzalo. Seems like they haven't had anything out for it yet. But for that invest out in Gulf of Mexico. So here we go. And now we are actually expecting this to become a hurricane. And this thing here may have a chance for becoming Category 2. It's possible at this time. Given it a 20 to 30% chance. Likely be becoming a Category 1 hurricane. But then it will start to slowly die down as it gets closer to the Lesser Antilles, which I believe that's what it's called. And then kind of get into the Caribbean, which it has a lot of ocean heat content there, which I can't show you guys that, but I've seen it from a recent tweet. So there's a lot. The environment's very favorable. However, well, for water-wise, at least. So let's look into the GFS model here first. We'll look into the GFS, the arrow, and we'll take a look into some of the other stuff here. We'll look at Gonzalo first, then we'll look into the event invest at the Gulf of Mexico. So as you can see here, could be dropping about as low as 993 millibars, and then it starts to die down as it kind of passes. The primary threat's going to be some strong winds, more likely probably up to 50 miles per hour, maybe stronger than that, and there could be a lot of rainfall for those islands as well. Some of us are giving it to a little bit of southern track, but we'll see about that. And as you can see there, it goes away there, and there's going to be another tropical wave coming off of Africa very short soon, and we're going to watch out on there as well. But let's first look into Gonzalo and Invest 90. Man, I forgot the numbers for it. So why is this storm here going to die down? So let's back this up here. If we take a look into the upper dynamics, let's take a look into wind shear first. Haven't really looked into the latest model runs today. So you got quite a bit of wind shear to the north at this point. At this point here, there's not a lot of wind shear mess around with it. But as it gets closer to the Lesser Antilles here, otherwise I think that's what it's called, it starts to hit some wind shear. And you got stronger wind shear at the Caribbean. And as it kind of gets closer, it starts to get involved in that wind shear, and then it really starts to shred apart. but it seems like there's a chance that low can survive and maybe come back. We're going to see about that with that system. So back this up. And let's take a look, see if there's any dry air going to get involved with this as well. So at this point here, there is some dry air out ahead of it. We're just going to see if it can get into the circulation. Again, like I said, it has a chance of surviving this. As you can see here, some of your dry air is starting to get sucked around the storm, which is going to make the intensification kind of calm down a little bit, not make it really that strong. And then it gets away with from dry air, but then that wind shear really starts to kick in. You can see here, it doesn't really get much into dry air later down the road. So we're going to watch that very closely. So that's why I'm saying there's a chance for this here that can survive for the dry air, which is going to be the first thing it'll go through. And then that wind shear. So we'll see. Good news. The good news would be if if this were to happen here, for the wind shear to be strong, the storm can go away. However, if the wind shear is a little bit weaker, it can bring down the intensification, and when it gets out of that wind shear, it can rapidly intensify again. But we're gonna watch that and see what's gonna happen there with that storm system. And here's the European model with this here, and it's not been really doing a good job with this system here. So, and as you can see here, these yellow colors here, it's about 30 miles per hour, so it's definitely well underdone with this here. But you can see here, it goes away before it gets into the islands there. If we move on to GFS, here it is right here. Likely stronger than that, 34 mile per hour winds, probably approaching 40, which is a tropical storm. But as you can see here, how it kind of continues on along down the road in the Caribbean. You can see here, then it just dies out there in the Caribbean. So, but there's just a lot of uncertainties involved that far out, so we don't really know if there's really a threat to the United States with this system here just yet, because we are pretty far out with the storm here. Let's back this up here actually, and let's take a look into the wind shear from the European model. And as you can see here, it does hit some wind shear, at least on the northern inside of this here. You can see here, then it kind of dissipates, and there's a little bit of high pressure nearby. That's what it seems as well. So that's going to be another thing um, as well with that. So now let's move into some other models as well. So you got Tropical Storm Gonzalo, and as you can see here, it's really getting pretty well organized here. We're going to stop here, and as you can see there from the first graphic, you can see here there's quite a bit of convection going on near the center. There's not really an eye wall going on. There was a little bit of an eye wall trying to develop earlier on, but it seems like it's having a little bit of a difficult time bringing in a wall. However, we do have quite a bit of convection going on with this storm here, so it is gaining strength still. Keep in mind of that. So let's kind of go back here. Let's take a look into a few model runs here. So this is going to be your hurricane models here. It actually see it kind of brings it in a little bit further south, and you can also see there it kind of brings in into the Caribbean Sea, where the waters are very warm. We're talking about sea surface temperatures anywhere from 28 degrees Celsius to 30, which is in the 80s, mid to upper 80s, I would say. And this is the intensity guidance here. And as you can see here, we got two different stories here from these models here. You got a group of models in the staying in the tropical storm range, which may be due to either dry air and or maybe some wind shear. However, another group of models bringing into a Category 1 hurricane, and even a few bringing into Category 2 hurricane strength. Uh, that might be where the wind shear could be weaker, and there probably won't be much of any dry air. But we're going to see about that. We'll see if we can pull up one of those models on here and see. This one here, I believe this is the most aggressive one, which it only goes out 126 hours with this. But so this is your moisture here, and as you see, there is some dry air going on around the system. If we kind of move this around, you can see here how it kind of intensifies later on. 990 millibars. I can't tell. I bet that's in the Caribbean Sea already. Yeah, here's your islands right here. Making landfall at the islands as a pretty impressive system. Kind of doubt it would be that strong with low millibars, 981. We're going to see. It's 2020, in the first place. Didn't really look like it's going to do much of anything, but look what's happening. Look at a hurricane. Welcome to 2020, folks. On that. Let's go into, I don't think I even show you guys this yet, but here's your wind shear with this again. In a different view, I should say. And as you can see here comes your system right here. You do have wind shear going on in the Caribbean Sea. You can see quite a bit, pretty strong wind shear going on there. And as we kind of get into the Caribbean Sea, seems like the wind shear kind of dies down a little bit. See, the storm is still surviving this here. You can see your circulation's right here. Then the wind shear starts to die down just a little bit. And it seems like it kind of goes away after that. So hopefully this storm system can die out because of wind shear. Because if it does survive all this, that's not going to be good. And that's stuff that we don't really want. Let's talk about this other system here. Invest 91L. So if we kind of move on down here, Invest 91L. Pretty disorganized right now, as you can see from this graphic, your circulation. I'm guessing it's right in there, but again, still a pretty disorganized low. And there's a pretty good agreement that it's going to be heading into southeast central Texas. Will be where it's landfall. So Louisiana, Mississippi, where I have you guys highlighted in the last video, you guys don't have to worry about this system. You guys look to be fine with this one here. And there is a chance this may go into tropical storm. It's still a low chance here. You got half of models going into tropical storm. Meanwhile, the other half is in more tropical depression. So it still has a chance of developing. It's just really a disorganized low is what's going on with this here system. And again here, we'll take a look into the wind shear. There's your system right here. Pretty disorganized. You got a lot of wind shear going on around the system. And then it just makes landfall from there. Now, if we take a look into if there's any moisture problems with it, it doesn't really seem like there will be. You can see there's quite a bit of moisture, so there's not really any dry air problems. So really, again, with this, it just depends on if it can get organized. Really, it's just not that organized. So really, the primary threat from this system here is going to be heavy rainfall with it, which we'll actually take a look on here. And here's the European model actually with this system here. Actually, here showing a tropical storm with this one here. Not a lot of rain associated with it, which I have doubts on that. You can see there. And it kind of stays stationary across over Texas, which is something we're not going to want there. And it just really kind of sits there. And I kind of have some doubts it's going to stay stationary all the way down there. Again, the European model's not been doing a really good job with this system. And here's a GFS preference to it. It looks like it's going to be a little bit to the north with this system here. Yeah, still pretty disorganized low. It's so disorganized you can't really see it. Yeah, here's your low right here. Got a lot of moisture going in on the northern inside of the storm. And as you can see, our rainfall amounts really generally 1 to 3 inches here. So really two different stories with this here between these models here. So, but really the primary threat is it's just going to be a lot of rain. If you're going to get involved with this tropical system, likely 1 to 3 inches, but isolated areas could see higher than that, maybe 4 inches, maybe even a little higher than that from Invest 91L. But anyways, guys, this is all I can for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this tropical update. If you guys would like this tropical update, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys got questions about this, you can put in the comment section down below. I'll answer your guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.